We all went through withdrawals.
Past the scary point of looking at me, that was a hard thing.
The regular public meeting of the Monroe Township Board of Education, June 17th, 2015, will now come to order. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. Ms. Hayter, would you mind leading us in the pledge to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Gorski, roll call, please.
Ms. Arminio.
Here.
Mr. Braverman.
Yes.
Ms. DeMayo.
Here.
Mr. Kaufman.
Here.
Mrs. Koloponowicz.
Here.
Mr. Nostine.
Here.
Mr. Poi.
Here.
Mr. Prezioso.
Yeah.
Mr. Ryback.
Here.
Mr. Zarneski.
Here.
Mr. Board President, you have a quorum this evening. In accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law, the Monroe Township Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted June 12th, 2015, at all schools, at the Home News Tribune, Cranberry Press, and filed with the clerk of the municipality.
Thank you, Mr. Gorski. At this time, we're going to do our annual recognition of support staff.
Yes.
Mr. Ventrilo?
Mr. Poi, would you join me, please? This is to build an opportunity, obviously, to say thank you to your service, years of service, but also the fact that years of excellence for our support staff. Sometimes as we get involved with Teachers of the Year, we tend to forget that there are so many other staff elements and other staff members that obviously do an excellent job for the schools and for the children. So with that said, I would like to give out some plaques, and that's always a good thing to do. From Mill Lake Schools, we have Audrey Porcelli. On one side, I'm on the other side, and choose the middle with the plaque, and then I put that word. And I'll see it's on the camera as well, too, okay?
They're leasing another 200 iPads, laptops.
From Oak Tree School, Kimberly Barbuto. From Brookside, Dawn Bouchard. From the high school, John Mazzolo. From Barkley Brook School, Holly Bell. Congratulations. Everybody wants to take a picture if you look at that. Congratulations. You're welcome. Monroe Township Middle School, Albert Olsnelli. A well-deserved honor now. Well-deserved honor. Congratulations. Mr. Ventrilo, thank you. Absolutely. Come on this way. Let me see. There you go. Another round of applause. And for Applegarth School, Piccolo at BB. Phil Piccolo. Is Phil here? No? Yeah, come up and be right. Come on. Get right. Mine is the hair. Good representation. Phil. effect, we would like to do, let's do the retirees, if you don't mind. I think we say thank you, obviously, thank you for all the years of service to Monroe schools, to the children, your dedication, your loyalty, all the hard work, etc. Doesn't matter what the staff position may be, but again, it's dedication to the district of Monroe Township. So on behalf of the entire Monroe Township School District Board of Education, all the students, all the other colleagues and staff members as well, we just want to say thank you for all that you've done, all that you've committed, all that you've dedicated to Monroe. So thank you, and we'll bring you up in a second. Let's see how we can do this one. Elise Rubin.
Each retiree.
That's very true. I learned about breakage at the last school board.
From Millwright School also, Marianne Barbarian. And before we go any further, I guess I was remiss that I didn't want to bore you, but there is a resolution that goes with this. So as the people are getting their plaques, there's a resolution on the plaque basically thanking them for their service. This is for bus driver transportation, Robert Werner. Is Robert here? Woodland School, Barbara Trotty. Barbara? Mill Lake School, on. Dr. Barbera.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know I cannot talk.
Right, that's fine.
I just would like to say thank you to the citizens of Monroe, particularly those from Mill Lake, for 13 of the most wonderful years of my life. I've been in education for 31 years, and the 13 here have been just the best. I brought my granddaughter with me to remember that everything we do here is about future children. So thank you.
Oak Tree School, Lisa Quinn. Lisa? Jen Mayer, teacher grade 6, middle school. No? Okay, let's give her a round of applause anyway. Peggy, you want to be Margaret or you want to be Peggy? Peggy it is. Peggy Eckstein from School Nurse, Woodland School. Come on, Peggy. Round of applause, Peggy. From the middle school, Tina Friedman. Tina? Linda Anderson, paraprofessional. Linda, let's give her a round of applause. Teresa McShane? Steve McShane? No, round of applause there, please. We also want to recognize, while I'm up here, Corey Hayes. Corey is known for obviously as she leaves Monroe. May I share this? Honorable National Honor Society, DECA, which is New Jersey DECA, State Recording Secretary, not that, future Fellowship of Christian Athletes, thank you for correcting me. And you were the Huddle Vice President? That means you have to get into the Huddle?
Well, it's just
Oh, it doesn't, I can get other. Obviously, Monroe Township Board of Education, student representative, thank you. Middle school youth group leader, and she's going to the College of New Jersey and majoring in economics. Let's give her some. Sincere appreciation for your dedicated service to the students and schools of Monroe Township while serving as a student board member of the Monroe Township Board of Education from 2013 to 2015. Look that way, Corey. Okay, there we go. How's that? Everybody's got it? I think so. Round of applause, congratulations. Thank you, everybody. What else do we have?
Environmental Stewardship Award.
Yep, that's okay. At this time, I'd like to ask Mrs. Castelletto to please come up. Mrs. Castelletto is our science supervisor, science and social studies supervisor. She'd like to talk about it as far as the Environmental Stewardship Award. Bonnie?
Thank you, Mr. Venturillo. Board of Education members, members of the community. Tonight we'll honor one of our students, Sakith Karaturi. He's being recognized by the Township Environmental Commission for his stewardship on behalf of the Environmental Action Club in our school in working with the community. This evening at our curriculum committee, he presented a short PowerPoint presentation on a grant proposal, and we'll be partnering with the school, with the township in the future on a Sustainable Jersey grant. And I believe you all now have possibly the language for that. I gave that to Mr. Poi. So we look forward to growing our collaboration. We look forward to working on as a green team, which this grant endorses, and growing our programming within the school and working further in outreach into the community on environmental issues with our youth. So Sakith, if you would come up. I believe also on hand we have Mr. Ryan Tolboom. He is the advisor of our Environmental Action Club at the high school and our high school science department coordinator. And also on hand we have Mrs. Lorraine Sarhay from the township. Unable to make it with us this evening is Mr. John Riggs. So Sakith, if you would come up, we'd like to give you a round of applause, and I know that Mr. Riggs will be meeting with you shortly to get you that award. So we all offer him our congratulations. Thank you all very much. You want to do a picture with your dad?
Mr. Venturillo will now present the Monroe Education Foundation grants.
This is for recognition. I did name the grant for this one is at Mill Lake School. Matter of fact, it's Mill Lake grade 2 teachers. Out of this world discoveries, scientific inquiry of the solar system. It's Denise Quinn, Melissa Fletcher, and Maren Keys. Who's here to represent Mill Lake? Very good, Denise. Thank you. Ashley Pepe and Michelle Giaquinta. Is Lisa here? Yes, Lisa's here. Thank you. This one is Meeting the Composer, the music of Williams Owen, Woodland teachers of grades 5 and 6, collaborating with Brookside, Applegarth, and Middle School, and this is Yale Snyder. Yale. This one is collection of math games to enhance student achievement. Brookside teachers of grade 4. It's Danielle Kakuza, Nancy Mills, and Beth Nagel. Nancy, are you here? Here. I love it when a plan comes together. Round of applause. This one is the Monroe Township Middle School elected videos, Monroe Township Middle School, grades 6 through 8, and it's Heidi Lubrani and Robert Howard Jr. They may not be here, but a round of applause for them. And the last one is Connections, Balloon Shop, Monroe Township Middle School, grades 6 through 8, self-contained students, and it's Crystal DiVincenzo. Is Crystal here? No, let's give her a round of applause.
We'll now be going to the first public forum. I'd like to remind anyone coming to the microphone to please give your name, your address. You are expected to keep your remarks to 3 minutes or less. And all of your remarks are to be addressed to the president of the board, not to individual members of the board. And your cooperation in this will be very much appreciated. At this time, is there anyone that wants to speak in the first public forum?
Good evening. On behalf of the Monroe Education Foundation, I'd like to thank all the staff for their hard work in submitting these grants. It's always very exciting to see when teachers are excited about education and programs. So at this time, I would like to present a check to the Board of Education for $6,923 for those grants. And
thank you,
Amy.
Thank you. Wow. To the money man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Is there anyone else who cares to speak on items on the agenda? Then I will close the first public session. We will move to the approval of minutes. I move that we approve the Public Board of Education meeting minutes for March 12th, 2015.
Second.
Is there any question, comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? I move that we approve the minutes of the closed session meeting of March the 12th, 2015.
Second.
Is there any comment or question? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I move that we approve the special board minutes of the Special Board of Education meeting of March the 18th.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I move that we approve the minutes of the closed session meeting of March the 18th, 2015.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I move that we approve the minutes of the Public Board of Education meeting of April the 15th.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I move that we approve the minutes of the closed session meeting of April the 15th. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Before going to the committee reports from committees of the board, are there any reports from our students, student representatives?
It's quick because it's the end of the year, but we just wanted to say congrats to all spring sports finishing and having successful seasons. Monroe had an outstanding athletic year, so we just want to say congrats to them. And just thank you to all teachers and other faculty members for a great school year. And Tuesday's the last day of school and the graduation day for the class of 2015.
Additionally, final exams are currently taking place at the high school, and summer assignments throughout the district are being distributed to students. Class officer elections have also taken place, including the election of the next student member on the Board of Education, which is Syed Atib Jamal, who will be replacing Corey as she goes off to college. So that being said, that concludes the student board members report. Thank you.
Thank you. And Corey, I'd just like to say the board wishes you well next year, and we appreciate your service on the board, even though that was earlier recognized by Mr. Ventrello. Okay, at this time, we will go to committee reports. Is there any committee chairman that would like to report? Mr. Ryback?
Thank you, Mr. Point. The Personnel Committee met and is recommending the hiring of a physics teacher. It's long overdue. Very difficult in finding that position, and we're lucky we found someone that could be recommended to the board. We're also recommending a school nurse. We have increased enrollment. With increased enrollment comes increased responsibilities, and we don't want to be shorthanded. This is a safety factor, and we do not want to put that on the back burner. It's very important that we have safety in the forefront of our minds. And lastly, there's a change in the job description for head coach, which now requires prior coaching experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryback.
Any other committee reports? Mr. Kaufman?
We had a curriculum committee meeting that was mentioned earlier by Bonnie. We had a presentation of the sustainability grant, as was mentioned earlier, so I'm not going to reiterate. We also looked over some high-level information on AP Human Geography, Accelerated Math for Grade 6, Working with Children 1, and International and Gourmet Cooking programs here at the high school. We also had a lively debate on a couple of other new and exciting initiatives that are coming up, hopefully in the near future. So as they kind of develop, we'll release that information forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. Any other chair people? Mrs. Kolopanovich?
You want my mic?
It's okay. Thank you. We had a finance committee meeting on Wednesday, June 10th, and some of the things that we discussed was the proposed lunch prices for the 2015-2016 school year. And it was recommended to the committee that the school lunch prices for next year increase 5 cents for student and adult paid lunches based on some of the following. The USDA regulations, which is the Healthy Hunger Act by the national government, requires all districts where their school meal prices fall below the federal free lunch reimbursement rate, which is $2.98, that all districts work towards increasing meal prices to meet equity with that rate. So currently, our lunch prices are $2.10 for the elementary school, $2.15 for middle, $2.20 for high school, and $3 for an adult lunch. And these lunch prices fall way below the federal lunch reimbursement rate. And the government does not wish to subsidize districts with our low lunch prices. So in order to keep receiving federal reimbursement, we need to continue to make a move towards meeting their rate of $2.98, which in reality means that we're being penalized for running a great program in Monroe. It's probably not the first time that we've been penalized for doing something good. So the increase in costs will help offset the cafeteria depreciation rate and the produce costs that are rising. We had an audit update. The auditors have asked to come into the district and start the annual audit for the 2014-15 school year by reading the minutes, going through the check registers, and looking through the student activity accounts. And that this audit will be ongoing for quite a few months to come. There was also a recommendation to the committee to authorize through lease purchase the acquisition of a web filter software and various vehicles and equipment such as iPads, mobile carts, router, projectors, copiers, replacement of buses, a camera system for a van, radios for buses and vans that need them. The total lease purchase is approximately $600,000, and all items are in the budget for next year. We will be taking advantage of the low interest rates of 1.5 to 1.75%. The last thing we discussed at the meeting was the capital reserve account, and it was recommended to the committee that we use the $2,086.45 currently in the capital reserve account for purchasing additional lockers for Monroe Township Middle School to accommodate the growing student population in that school, and that is part of the 5-year facilities plan. And although it was not on the Finance Committee agenda, we did have some good news that came into the district today, so I want to give you that information. Previously, Mr. Gorski had switched health care from the direct claims health insurance method, where the district pays the processed claims in the month plus an administrative surcharge known as A4, and he changed it to a prospective method where the district pays a fixed premium more similar to paying car insurance. Mr. Gorski had been arguing with Horizon, Blue Cross Blue Shield, that our district should not be subject to the A4 surcharge anymore since we changed. And today we learned that we were successful and that now we will enjoy a savings of approximately $350,000 in the current budget and the same moving forward. So that's a huge amount of money that we will now be saving annually for our health care budget, thanks to the great negotiating and persistence of Mr. Gorski and our health insurance director. Mr. Gorski, maybe you can explain a little bit about A4, because I really was not exactly sure what that was.
Thank you for introducing that so well. The A4 surcharge is an additional premium that's paid to Horizon, and it's for districts who are outside of the state health benefits plan. Monroe is outside of the state health benefits plan because the rates that we negotiate in the plans that we currently have are less expensive than those in the state-run plan, and we have to demonstrate that every year. The A4 surcharge is to help fund retirees' health insurance once they retire from the district and enter back into the state health plan. And we negotiated out of that. It's an administrative charge. It was budgeted for, and it was always paid previously, and budgeted for separately as it's a large amount of money, and it was now waived. And I have to thank our insurance broker who collaborated with me in those negotiations with Horizon, and that money will go to excess surplus unless the board directs another use for it. Thank you.
And that concludes my report. We don't have it. We have a temporary date for the next Finance Committee meeting, but I think it's going to be changed, so I'll hold off on giving you a date.
Any other committee reports? Okay, I would like to commend and thank Mr. Gorski for that savings of money that Mrs. Kolopanovich just mentioned. I think it was somewhere over $300,000, and that's on an annual basis. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's terrific. That will allow us to buy maybe another bus.
Or a few teachers.
All right, at this time, we will move to the superintendent's report and recommendations. 13?
Yeah, just hand it to me.
I think you have an Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. We have to, I have an old copy of the agenda here. We're going to be approving a memorandum of agreement between the Monroe Township Board of Education and the local number 11. Mr. Gorski will be reading a statement regarding that.
Thank you, Mr. Coy. The Monroe Township Board of Education has achieved mutually favorable settlements in its negotiations of collective negotiation agreements with 2 employee units known as associations for this purpose. The net impact to the board's budget and the fairness to the members of these associations are the hallmarks of the settlements. The details of the 2 settlements are as follows, and they're with the 2 remaining groups. We have now, Mr. Ventrilo and I have now completed negotiations with all groups by concluding with the Monroe Township Board of Education Support Staff Association. These are secretaries and clerical positions throughout central office and special services and some of the schools. And the second one is with the local number 11 affiliated International Brotherhood of Teamsters. These are the custodians and maintenance workers in the district. The Monroe Township Board of Education Support Staff Association, the term of the agreement is for a period from July 1st, 2015 to June 30, 2018, and the agreement will result in a 2% average net budget impact over the 3 years of the agreement, while ensuring the association members a fair and equitable average salary increase of 2.75 across the 3 years of the agreement. They were able to go from a gross settlement of 2.75 down to a net budget effect of 2 through heavy concessions in health benefits, namely the freezing of participation in and the elimination of the traditional health plan, the increase of copays from a 90-day supply for pharmaceutical copays to a 30-day, and many other concessions outlined with a Me Too clause to the MTEA agreement. The second one with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the term of the agreement is from the period of July 1st, 2015 through June 30, 2019, and the agreement will result in a 1.66 average net budget impact over the 4 years of the agreement, while ensuring the Teamsters members a fair and equitable average salary increase of 2.56% across the 4 years of the agreement. This one was particularly challenging for the interim superintendent and I because for over a decade, this organization has been off their salary guide and just receiving a flat percentage increase for their members. The hardship that creates is you have a 10-year experienced veteran on staff who is on step 1 making the same amount of compensation as somebody brand new just hired, and that's unequal to any other labor agreement in the district. As you can imagine, the challenge with that is creating another guide and where to place these veteran employees. And most importantly, where to get the money to fund it, because whenever you put folks back on a guide like that, generally districts throw a lot of extra money at it to round it off and satisfy the veterans. We were able to do that with an agreement that anybody who has 10 years of experience moves to step 4 from step 1. Anybody with 7, 8, or 9 years of experience moves to step 3. All else will move to step 2. We increased longevity. And as you can imagine, there were major concessions on health benefits, same as I just disclosed for the Central Office Support Staff Association. Clothing allowances back to the district. And the term of that one is a little different. It's 4 years instead of 3. Also, it's important to know that all 4 bargaining units in Monroe Township have voluntarily, through negotiations, agreed to remain at Chapter 78, Tier 4 for mandatory medical health insurance contributions. The governor introduced mandatory health insurance contributions at 1.5% of salary many years ago, and that was followed by Chapter 78 law, which requires now up to 35% of an employee's health benefits be paid by top-earning employees. That law sunsets June 30, 15, and these bargaining associations have agreed to remain at that level, contributing back to the district for the remainder of those agreements. And that's really a credit to the organizations to give that back, because for the members in those organizations, it's important to understand that the salary increases that they've enjoyed over the last 4 years since the adoption of this law, 2%, 2.25%, and so on, with the contributions taken out for Chapter 78 has resulted in a net decrease in net pay to theirs from 4 years ago. And that's not unique. That all members throughout the district have faced the same consequence, and it's remarkable that these folks can continue to remain at that level to meet the board and share in the cost of health insurance. These favorable outcomes for the Monroe Township school community and all citizens of Monroe Township is a result of the willingness of the board and these two associations to work together toward the common goal of achieving settlements that will support the continued provision of high-quality education for the students of Monroe Township School District, competitive salaries for the members of the association, and have a limited impact on the tax-paying citizens of Monroe. The association's willingness to make concessions appropriate to the well-being of their members allowed the board to offer salary increases for the life of each agreement that will ensure the benefit to the entire community. So I would like to recommend a resolution at this time. It is recommended that the Monroe Township Board of Education approve the previously submitted memorandum of agreement between the Board of Education and the local number 11 affiliated with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters for the period from July 1st, 2015 through June 30, 2019, known as the MOA, Memorandum of Agreement, resulting in a 1.66 average net budget impact over 4 years with an average salary increase of 2.56% over 4 years, and 2, authorize and direct the board president and the business administrator board secretary as the attesting witnesses to sign a collective negotiations agreement which incorporates the terms of the MOA. The business administrator board secretary is hereby authorized and directed to take all necessary steps to implement this action by the Board of Education.
So moved.
Any comments or questions? Roll call.
Ms. Arminio.
Yes.
Mr. Braverman.
Yes.
Mr. Zarneski.
Yes.
Ms. DeMayo.
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman. Mrs. Kolpanowicz.
Yes.
Mr. Nostine.
Yes.
Mr. Prezioso.
Yes.
Mr. Ryback.
Yes.
Mr. Poi.
Yes.
Mr. Board President, motion unanimously passes. Thank you very much. Secondly, I would like to introduce, it is recommended that the Monroe Township Board of Education approve the previously submitted memorandum of agreement between the Board of Education and the Monroe Township Board of Education Support Staff Association for the period from July 1st, 2015 through June 30, 2018, known as the MOA, resulting in a 2% average net budget impact over 3 years with an average salary increase of 2.75 over 3 years. And 2, to authorize and direct the board president and the business administrator board secretary as the attesting witnesses to sign a collective negotiations agreement which incorporates the terms of the MOA. The business administrator board secretary is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to implement this action by the Board of Education.
So moved.
Any comments or questions? Ms. Arminio?
Mr. Board President, this was negotiated between the association and who were the board? There were no board members negotiating this, correct? Just administration?
I'm sorry.
You want to take that?
That is correct.
Okay,
This was done by Mr. Ventrilo and Mr. Gorski.
okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, roll call.
Ms. Arminio.
Yes.
Mr. Braverman.
Yes.
Mr. Zarneski.
Yes.
Ms. DeMayo.
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman.
Yes.
Votes recorded as an abstention. Mrs. Kolpanowicz.
Yes.
Mr. Nostine.
Yes.
Mr. Prezioso. Mr. Ryback.
Yes.
Mr. Coy.
Yes.
Mr. Board President, motion unanimously passes. Thank you very much. And thank you to the Board of Education members. This was a long and difficult negotiations run, and we believe that once again, that the taxpayers and the district has benefited, as has the workers in these organizations, with a fair and equitable settlement and wage increase. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we will now go to the superintendent's report and recommendations.
Mr. President, it is recommended that the members of the Monroe Township Board of Education approve personnel items A through triple Y. A through triple Y.
So moved.
You said A through triple Y.
Yes. Been moved and seconded.
Okay, are there any questions or comments?
Just a quick question with regards to P as in Peter. Unfortunately, Dr. Alvich is injured, took one for the team.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, are we going to be required, or is there going to be a need to do an interim while she's on the mend?
No.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I do have a suggestion regarding items LL, YY, and ZZ. These are programs that we have been operating for quite some time. The LL deals with the TAG program. YY deals with the extended school year. And ZZ deals with the after-school basic skills program. I want it clearly understood that I'm in no way questioning the validity and value of these programs. However, when the board is asked to vote on approving essentially the programs and all the personnel that are in there, that's what we're approving, is all the personnel, I think it would be prudent for us to know how much money we're talking about for each of those. So I would simply ask that the Finance Committee make it one of their future projects to determine what the cost of each of those, the total staffing cost of each of those programs would be. So if you would just make a note of that, Mr. Ryback, your Chair of Finance? No? Sorry, Ms. Kolopanovich. Okay. If you would do that, I think it would be informative both to the board and to the public. Any further questions or comments? That's on items A through triple Y. Roll call.
May I ask the members who moved this motion?
I seconded it.
I did.
Thank you very much. Ms. Arminio.
Yes.
Mr. Braverman.
Yes.
Mr. Zarneski.
Yes.
Ms. DeMayo.
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman.
Yes to all, recuse on double Z, triple T.
Thank you, sir, and so noted. Mrs. Kolopanovich.
Yes.
Mr. Nostine.
Yes.
Mr. Prezioso.
Yes on everything, abstain on triple T.
So noted. Mr. Ryback.
Yes.
Mr. Coy.
Yes.
Mr. Board President, personnel items A through triple Y passes. Thank you.
Mr. President, it is recommended that the members of the Monroe Township Board of Education approve board actions item A through S. A
So
through
moved.
S.
Second.
Okay, are there any questions or comments on items A through S? Sorry? Board action. I think it begins on page 55. Mr. Nostine.
With regards to H, the job description for HR, is that strictly a job description change, or is it an increase in a salary on that one?
Mr. Gorski?
That is simply a job description change. There is no discussion or desire or plan to increase compensation.
Thank you.
If I may elaborate, the reason for that job description change is there is a realignment of the HR responsibilities. The former name for that was HR coordinator. We now have 2 HR coordinators, which was how the department was set up when we had a assistant superintendent for personnel who report to the HR director. You need that hierarchy to have the management and supervision responsibilities.
Any other questions or comments?
I got A to S on that. I'm sorry, A to Q. I don't have an RS.
I don't
Mr. Boyd?
Mr. Boyd?
either.
Yeah, just for the record, I was looking on page 57. I only go to Q. I don't see an R and an S. Am I missing something?
And we were just sorting that out here. You're absolutely correct.
Okay.
So let me correct that. It should be A through Q, not S. We did have some changes last minute, so it's A through Q.
Letter O, are we hiring a new human resource coordinator?
We have, Mr. Poy? Yes, thank you, sir. We have a retirement that is being posted. There is no new hire to that department.
Any other questions, comments?
Sure.
On-
Minio?
Yes. On O, the Human Resource Director and Coordinator, are those salaries included in one of our new contracts that we're voting on tonight? Is that like a 3-year, are those salaries dictated by the 3-year contract, or no?
Mr. Poy? The director is a non-affiliated position, not in tonight's contracts. However, the HR coordinators are included in the Central Office Support Staff Association contract.
Okay, because I thought I saw okay, so the Director of Human Resources is not in the contract?
That's correct.
Non-affiliated position for the HR director.
And so when, does that contract come up yearly?
Annually, yes. Yes. It was a non-affiliated position before the title change. It's a non-affiliated position after the title change, and as I mentioned to Mr. Nostine's question, there is no change in compensation.
And
And in fact, the district is going to enjoy some breakage on the retirement and the reappointment of the new person.
is that a confidential position?
They are all confidential positions in the HR department.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, then we will go to a roll call. That's items A through Q.
Yes.
Board action items A through Q.
Ms. Arminio.
Yes.
Mr. Braverman.
No on G, H, and O. The rest, yes.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Zarneski.
Yes.
Ms. DeMayo.
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman.
Yes.
Mrs. Golopowicz.
Yes.
Mr. Nostine.
Yes.
Mr. Prezioso. Mr. Ryback.
Yes.
Mr. Poi.
Yes.
Mr. Board President, board action items A through Q passes. Dennis, does that conclude your report?
It does. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Ventrillo. We will now go to Mr. Gorski's report as the business administrator.
Thank you. Mr. Board President and members of the Monroe Township Board of Education, it is recommended that board action items A through Y be approved by consent. Roll call.
So moved.
Questions or comments? No questions or comments? All right, we'll go to roll call.
Ms. Arminio.
Yes.
Mr. Braverman.
Yes.
Mr. Zarneski.
Yes.
Ms. DeMayo.
Yes, and recuse on Y.
Thank you. Mr. Kaufman.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole-Ponowich.
Yes, and I'm going to recuse on
Pages up.
letter Y.
Mr. Nostine.
Yes.
Mr. Prezioso. Mr. Ryback.
Yes, and I'm sorry. Yes, I recuse on Y.
Mr. Poi.
Yes, I need to recuse on any item dealing with the Middlesex County Regional Education Services Commission, and also on item Y.
Mr. Board President, the members who recuse on Y, I assume, are recusing on their individual recommendation for travel, not the entire block. Thank you. Mr. Board President, board action items A through Y passes. That concludes my report. Thank you very much.
We have to do this first. Okay, in one of the items that we approved, I would like to thank the Monroe Township High School Diamond Club. They donated the scoreboard for the baseball field at a cost of $15,750. Prior to that, they had also donated $6,000 for its installation. So we're talking about almost $22,000 donated by the Monroe Township High School Diamond Club, and we certainly appreciate that donation in maintaining our athletic facilities.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Additionally, there was two other donations of a very generous nature. One from the Barclay Brookside PTO for $5,000 for the procurement of iPads, instructional devices for students in the school. And there was a $1,900 and change donation from the Oak Tree Applegarth PTA for 3 iPads.
All right, at this time, as board president, I would like to make a few comments in terms of the board president's report. I would like for the public to know that the board has once again spent many, many hours on many, many evenings doing our superintendent search in the hopes of finding a new superintendent. And it appears that the end is in sight. And in fact, it's closer than I originally thought. We were hoping to have the new superintendent on board sometime in late July. It appears now that we will very likely have the new superintendent on board July 1st. Now, this will necessitate a special board meeting. I had wanted to do this at a regular board meeting, but there are circumstances that warrant that we do it prior to the end of this month. I did send an email out to members of the board just to apprise you of this. I only learned of it late this afternoon, and I wanted as many of you to know about it in advance. So I'm very, very happy that it appears that we are being successful in that. Right now, our attorney is negotiating with our candidate's attorney, trying to come to an agreement on the contract. Once we have that agreement, it will go to the county superintendent, who must review the contract to make sure that it is in compliance with all state laws and regulations. Once we get the clearance on that, the board can then vote on the contract. So as I said, within the next couple of weeks, we should see the end to this almost year-long search for a new superintendent. I'm very happy about that. And the only thing I can say to the public, and I do regret this, but is that we will have a special meeting when that will take place. That will be a public part of the meeting, and so you would certainly be welcome to attend. And the best thing I can do is say, please check with the district's website, and also we'll try to make sure it gets posted on the electronic sign out by the high school, as well as some of the other electronic signs that we have at some of the other schools. We'll do our best to get this publicized so that those that want to be in attendance can be. And I believe that concludes my report. Is there any other board business for this evening? Mr. Prezioso.
Just like to say thank you, Dennis. Dennis, wake up.
Mike was talking.
Thank you, Dennis, for filling in, and you're a class act, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony. It was my pleasure to serve the board and obviously to serve the district and the kids. Thank you.
But you're not out of here yet.
I got that.
Mr. Nostine?
Just a question. I know that there was going to be a meet and greet with the new superintendent. Has that occurred with in the town? Have anybody?
Yes, we had a meet and greet yesterday. He met with several different groups. He met with the central office staff, administrators, I should say. He met with the PTA and PTO, some representatives of that group. He toured some of the schools in the district. He's returning tomorrow. He will meet with all of our building principals and supervisors, and we'll tour some additional, I guess, the remaining buildings that are in the district. He's been very, very eager to do that. He was willing to take 2 days of his vacation time to come and do that. So that is moving along well. Yes.
So is it safe to say we can say his name like amongst ourselves now, or is it still a top secret, or?
I'm always reluctant until we have something signed, sealed, and delivered, so to speak.
I just want to have that conveyed to everyone.
To just hold back on that. I understand the eagerness of doing that. And certainly, since there are some members of the public that met him yesterday, it is not as confidential as it once was, but I still think it would be prudent for us to not publicize that too heavily.
So we're expecting, though, to have the review by the county before that. Obviously, it has to occur before the next meeting, so that's going to be quite a Herculean feat also, too. So there's...
Well, from everything that we have heard, our county superintendent, Dr. Morano, appears to be willing to give it her undivided attention and to expedite its review.
That's great news.
She's well aware of the fact that we've been at this a long time, and also that Mr. Ventulo is eager to get back to his more familiar territory at Applegarth, so she is willing to try to move things along for us.
Fantastic, and I just want to thank my fellow board members. It was a lot of long nights and a lot of questioning and a lot of thought process. But you know, at the end of the day, we all came together, and it was a very learning experience for myself. I've never interviewed someone with a lot more credentials than me, for certain. Of course, that's pretty easy to do, but nonetheless, it was really humbling. But yet, it was great to work with a good team. So I want to thank my fellow board members for making a tough experience. I don't want to say enjoyable, but it was definitely a learning experience, and I think that we did a great job. So thank you again.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Nostine. Anyone else?
I think Michelle was first.
Oh, okay, Ms. Arminio.
Also, I'd like to thank Mr. Poi. You were vigilant and diligent and ruled with an iron fist, so, but in a very nice and pleasant way. So thank you for making this work. We had several rounds, and it was very difficult on everyone, but I appreciate your professionalism and your guidance. And again, to all the board members, I think we had really congenial work that we did, and to all the candidates that wanted to come to Monroe, I think it's an honor that we had so many on both rounds, and we had enthusiastic applicants who said very nice things about Monroe. So to the teachers and staff, to all the children that make Monroe shine, and to the administration, thank you very much. And Mr. Ventrilla, I also want to thank you for your professionalism and your enthusiasm to do this. But I still think you had something to do with making this a very speedy thing. But thank you. So now you can enjoy your summer, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Kolopanovich?
Well, I want to go back to Dennis, because this would be your last meeting as interim superintendent?
Technically, this should be my last meeting.
Well, I'd just like to thank you for jumping in and wanting to serve the community of Monroe and our school district. I know you were promised that this would be like a 2 to 3 month interim position.
I was
and
2 to 3 months, yes.
yeah, and I lasted a little bit longer than that. And I want to thank you as the past board president, having the time to work with you. And it's been a pleasure and an honor to do that. And I know we go back many years as the principal and the PTO president, so it's been quite a pleasure to watch our district grow and have you at the helm at this time, and just want to thank you for everything you've done for our school district.
It's been my honor. It's been my honor.
Mr. Ryback?
I know the hour is growing late. I just want to echo what my colleagues were saying. And Dennis, what can I say? Thank you so much for stepping up and assuming this taunting role, a very difficult role, and you did it just fantastically. It was a pleasure working with you as interim superintendent. Doug, you did a great job leading all of us, and to all my fellow board members, we were really a top-notch team, and it was a pleasure working with all of you in this venture. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Any other questions or comments? There's no further board business? Then at this time, I move that we go to closed session. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Township of Monroe hereby moves to go into closed session in accordance with the Sunshine Law, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 to discuss the following subjects: pending litigation, Kathy Kolopanovich versus Anthony Prezioso, Monroe Township Board of Education, Middlesex County, agency reference number C13-14, OAL docket number EECO 9925-2014, and to also receive our harassment, intimidation, and bullying report from the superintendent. The discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public at such time as the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recuse? The board will now go into closed session. Which time do you think?
Are you abstaining?
Okay, my administrators tell me that we estimate it'll be about 20 minutes. Thank you.
More. Probably more of a half an hour.
Okay, maybe a half an hour. I guess he'll come out. I got enough here. Okay. Where's Kathy and Marv? I need to wait? Good. Okay. All right, we will now resume with the public session of our board meeting, and we will now go to the second public forum, at which time members of the public have the opportunity to make any comments or raise questions, even if it does not pertain to the agenda. However, keep in mind that you should state your name, your address, and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Is there any comment from the public or questions? Yes, sir. Come ahead. I thought that boy was coming up.
Good evening, and thank you for taking the time to answer my question. My name is Christopher McKinnon. I am a resident of Monroe Township, and I have 2 questions, if I may.
Excuse me, just 1 minute. Your address, sir?
280A Cross Drive in Monroe.
Thank you.
It's in Clearbrook. Yeah, I have 2 questions. The first one is, if possible, I would like clarification of what the determining factors are as far as being called in for an interview for a teaching position. And the second one is a follow-up to that. Who are the individuals that are involved in that decision-making? Okay, thank you.
You're going to answer that, Dennis?
If I understand the question, sir, are you just asking about the process of the interviewing, or?
I'm asking about what are the determining factors and/or criteria as far as who gets selected to come in to be interviewed as opposed to those who don't get selected.
Sure, it all comes down to the qualifications for the position.
Okay. Is age a determining factor?
Never.
At this point?
Look at me. Never.
Sir, I do not know how old you are.
I'm old, 64.
Okay. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I rarely do this. I'm going to sit here and put my own horn and say that this is the fifth occasion where I have applied for a given position that I am totally qualified for.
Can you ask him to go to the mic, please?
Yes.
Yeah, we're recording, sir.
I usually don't toot my own horn. I'm going to do that a little bit tonight. This is the fifth time that I have applied for a similar position within the district. I can assure you that my credentials match up to anybody that has been brought in. I'm not even talking about being given the job. I'm talking about at least coming in for an interview. I do not know why I have been neglected in that capacity, at least asked to come in for an interview. And I thank you in advance again for your response. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions or comments from the public?
Sure.
Okay. I would suggest, sir, that you consider having a private discussion with the individuals at the board office that review the applications. And it's quite an involved process. The applications are taken. They go to the supervisors or the department heads. They review them. They make a recommendation. Usually the building principals are involved in it as well, so there's quite a few steps in that process. But our people that deal with that are at the board office. They would be better equipped to answer your question. I don't think that that this public session is the proper forum for that question.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for your answer.
Okay.
For your time.
All right. Thank you, sir. Do we have any other questions or comments from the public? Okay. Locked out that last page. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we will be having to have 2 special board meetings before the end of this month. Those dates have yet to be determined. You will be contacted tomorrow, I understand, in terms of when you might be available for that. I understand under the circumstances that it may be impossible to have everyone here, but hopefully we can get at least a forum present for those special meetings. One of those meetings will be devoted to discussion of the evaluation of the current interim superintendent. We are required to do that before the end of the month. So we'll be devoting that special meeting to that purpose. And the other special meeting will then be for approving the new superintendent, that contract, approving that, and he will be at that meeting, hopefully, if we can find a date that works for everyone. And also we will be discussing the evaluation with our superintendent, his evaluation. All right? Do I have any questions or comments about that, though, since we're here all together? Let's deal with that now. All right.
President?
Yes.
Has all the members of the board completed the evaluation of our superintendent, of our interim?
Okay, thank you for asking that question. This morning I got a call from New Jersey School Boards and they're aware that we're running out of time on this, and we can't proceed without the report. So they have sent me the report. We have we have evaluations that were completed by 7 members of the board, and that would be a sufficient number. All right. One member is conflicted, and it seemed that there were some difficulties with email addresses or getting the instructions out to certain members. I know I kept going back and forth with NJSB on that, asking them to double check their list, etc. So maybe everyone didn't get it at the same time. I'm not really certain. But we have 7. I have their final report, and that's what I have to share with you at our first special meeting.
And we're going to keep that, the meeting in July that was moved, we're going to keep that the same, correct? The 22nd?
Because we did, Mr. Gorski, we did pass the revised calendar, correct?
Yes,
okay, yes, and that'll just be a regular board meeting for that month.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, then I move that we adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.